Good evening, everybody. We are going to chat today about different business models that are working for people, what's working, what's not working. I'll give you guys a couple of ideas of things I have found to work. One is 100% Goodwill outlet model. If you pick items from the Goodwill outlet and you're getting them for 50 cents, $1, $2, and you're selling it at 15, I have seen that model work at scale, meaning someone can pay their bills doing that. I've never seen anybody take that to the next level, meaning like they've hired staff or grown that into like a sustainable business, but you can do that to get by with almost no capital. So that's a concept that I wanted to present, because if you have a couple $100, you could make a couple $1,000 hustling that way. So I want to present that as a model. Another model is a thrifting model that's only $40 and higher. I've seen a lot of people do this. Spend less than 10, sell for 40, make a $20 bill 50 times a week. You can pay your bills that route. But I want to just go over some ideas on what you guys are doing yourself, and then also what model maybe you want to be. So maybe we could start with Danielle. Danielle, do you want to chat? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you give us an idea? Where do you live? What do you sell? And what model do you like? Or maybe it's different from where you want to be.
It's probably different from where I want to be. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've only been selling for about 9 months. And I've done like some online arbitrage, but for the most part, I'd go out thrifting. That's pretty much what I do, is the thrifting. And I enjoy that because I love to shop. So, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I guess right now I'm just still kind of feeling my way through and trying to figure out this whole thing. So, but I do this full time.
And I'm sorry, where do you live again?
Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do you feel like is your challenge? What makes you want to change your model potentially?
Well, because I do want to grow this, and I want this, like I said, I do this full time. So right now it's just kind of just getting by.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want it to be, I want it to be a real business. And
Gotcha.
I feel like it's not really a real business right now, because it's not as profitable as I would like it to be.
Got you. So you want to transition from just getting by to making it more of a company.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to give you an idea that I've heard from many people in my group, which is if you were to change your customer, either you change the way you get items, or you change your customer to a business. Mm-hmm. Like let's say you're ordering from a local company in North Carolina. It needs to get rid of their end of season goods. Mm-hmm. And now you have a relationship where you're purchasing things on one side. That's more of a business. Or if you're only selling to businesses, either one of those shifts will create predictable side for one side of it, because it's either buying or selling. Right now it's unpredictable, because you don't, the stuff that you're buying is, so that if it's not predictable, then it's more of a hobby. So that's what we're trying to get to the next level, is just and ideally it's actually both. If you're trying to make, all the money is made from business to business. That's the part that is not really talked about on YouTube, but the big contracts, all of these companies in the Bay, these are all based usually from selling to corporations and big companies. Those are those big contracts come from. So we're always in the market for hunting for those. There's a gentleman in my group named Brooks Bolin. Maybe you know him. He's in North Carolina. He runs Datamine, and you should probably reach out to him. If you send me an email, I'll connect you. Chris at dailyrefinement.com. But he is one of those eBay businesses that is 100% buying from businesses and selling back to businesses. He doesn't sell to consumers, and he's doing numbers that are 10 times larger than than just regular consumer sellers. So just an idea. I will
Okay.
say though, way less fun. Way less fun. A little more boring, but definitely more profitable. So just an idea there.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
A lot of new faces. I'm excited. Let's go to Tina. Tina, can you chat? No problem. Like, there you go.
Okay. I don't
How's
know.
it going?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on Zoom, but good. So I was just on your YouTube and you gave
Awesome.
meeting number, so I moved over. So I've been following you maybe for just a month or so, or maybe 2 months, and so I'm just getting started. School is ending, so I'm able to go full time starting Friday. But I've got so much inventory because I like to shop. And so I've started listing on Mercari, but I have things specifically for eBay as well.
Mm-hmm.
Been watching what you're doing. And that's my mindset. I'm working on a spreadsheet right now, but I had started that before I knew that you had one. So I'm going to use yours. And I do plan on signing up for that unless it's too late, because I have a Mac.
Oh yeah, you can. You can definitely sign up for it. And getting the, like I said on my video, the most important part of the macros is not the macros. It's just learning how to break down everything you do into one thing after another. And that'll make it a lot easier to scale. I'm excited. So you're going to go full-time Friday?
As of Friday, yes. So I've been sourcing since March 29th.
Okay.
Trying to, not be too crazy. But I've got enough now to keep me busy, listing 10 items a day. I'll be busy for probably 4 weeks.
Okay. So I'm going to, just to give you an idea, because I do this type of call every day in the morning, and some of the people in my normal call are in this call. And what we talk about is scheduling and what your day looks like when you work for yourself, because it is like you're your own boss. You're also like, if you want to go to the beach, you can instead of working. So like, it's all about the structure.
Yeah. And I've worked for myself. I developed apps for a while and for a couple of years. So I definitely know. Yes. And I totally agree with you about the 4-hour productivity window. I've had employees too. So I get all that, but I love how you are starting, and I love the content that you share. I already had a spreadsheet set up, but I love yours of what I can see on YouTube. So I'll probably go to that because I'm using Excel on my MacBook, but I like the Google idea, Google Docs, or Google Sheets. So that's awesome.
I also would talk to a real CPA because they will adjust it to whatever you need for it. Okay. And then depending on how serious you are, then you need to have, how serious you are is how many times you meet with your CPA. Okay. I remember, just as a brief aside, I started a business with my old owner. I used to work at a car dealership, and we started a company. The first 5 times I met with him were with a CPA. Then we went to before we even talked about what we were going to do yet, the CPA was like, this is how you guys are not going to pay any tax. Then we went to the bank, and I had never even heard of this. The first day when we opened our business, they gave me a $50,000 unsecured credit card just because my boss was also on the business. I didn't recognize, like, when you are a big baller in business, banks just give you unlimited money to do stuff. So that's an interesting thought because I didn't know that existed. It literally was not tied to anything. No social security number. Just when you're at that level, all that leverage comes, and it's kind of insane. But that's what happens when you could potentially partner up with someone and do it at a scale that, for example, you have non-matching skills. If somebody is really, really anal and detail oriented and the other person's visionary, that's usually a good partnership, but not two of the same people.
Okay.
So just a thought.
That's a great idea. So
actually, that wasn't related to what you're talking about. It just popped in my head. So let's go. Yep. Let's go with Del. Del, good evening. Thank you for joining. You're in Texas, right? I think.
Sorry, yeah, it filled in the name of my computer instead of the name of me when I.
Got you.
So I'm Keith in Austin. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
And I joined last week. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep, okay. Sound good.
I just joined in the last meeting and really enjoyed the content. Really appreciate it. As I said last week, I'm focusing on one vertical, which is DVD sales used and new. Currently, I'm not interested in thrifting at all. That's not really my thing. And right now, I'm an eBay to eBay seller. It didn't start out that way, but I'm buying pallets of DVDs. I started at thousands, and I'm kind of graduating up. And I've optimized my listing process. So in the last week, since I saw you, I listed about another 1,300 new listings, including a bunch of duplicates. So I'm just trying to scale in that direction. Ultimately, I plan to go to that 10 by 10 by 10 model. But unlike most people in that goal, my goal is to develop the products myself. So I've got a background in that. I've got some products that I want to introduce already. So that'll be my long-term focus.
Awesome. That's also a great point on getting your processes down is easier if you just sell one vertical. Yeah. So it's much easier than trying to figure out multiple streams. Also, that's a great point. There was a gentleman in the group that sold fishing lures, and he reached 10 by 10 by 10 really quickly, and he had never fished before. He just saw them, like people would buy. Basically what he was offering, his unique advantage was you could pick the lures in the variation. So he had an eBay listing with all of the different variations of colors, and he had them on a giant key ring holder, and he would just pick them and then ship them out. And people were not able, most of the people competing with him, you'd only get 10 red or 10 blue or 10 yellow or whatever. And this was like completely, you pick your own fishing lure thing. And it was very, very clean, quick way to that method. And everything he made himself there. So very cool. In case that he didn't have it in stock, he could make it. So the outdoor market is very strong. So I'm excited to see what you come up with. Awesome. And then eBay to eBay, meaning you get some of your supply on eBay?
Yeah. I started out, the reason why, as I said last week, I started in October. And the reason why I started in October was because my mother passed away, and I ended up having to deal with all of her stuff. And she was a bit of a hoarder. And she had a lot of things, but one thing she had was 300 DVDs. And when I started to list a bunch of stuff, the DVDs were the easiest thing to list. I was able to burn through them relatively quickly. And when the sales started to roll in, I thought, well, let me check this out. Let me see if I can find some other, opportunities to pick up some stuff. And finding shop Goodwill.com, where they were selling lots of 30 of them, 100 of them, 50 of them. And so that was kind of the next step. And then, but there's it's very inconsistent in terms of the content, the quality of the stuff coming out of there. It's really thrift store stuff, right? So then I found somebody on eBay that's selling them by the 1,000, and so that's where I stepped up.
I love it. I pointed out in the beginning of the video on YouTube today that all of the things that we're doing are available online. Online arbitrage, every model of this is available. You can sell anything 100% online. You could even, there are people that do like the car market. They'll find a car that's listed on eBay and they'll list it on Auto Trader, sell the car, arrange it with the owner. And that's so smart because eBay is the laziest way to list a car. So if you see people doing it there, they probably will not sell. So you can quickly arbitrage. Even just putting it on Craigslist won't even cost you any money. And that's awesome. Cool. Let's go. Starko, can you chat or is it only? Oh, he's asking. You want to ask your question?
I can chat. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Actually, the first time joining for me, I was just in the YouTube thing, so I don't even know what the Zoom thing's about. So maybe you could explain that, and then I would go ahead and.
Sure. Today we were talking about different formats of what's working for people, meaning like are they thrifting, are they doing retail arbitrage? Maybe you can tell us where you live, what you sell, and then have you picked a model yet for your resale business?
Oh yeah, absolutely for sure. So I live in Florida, and it's just me, my wife, and two kids. I'm only 25, so but we don't have a lot of money, and we want to start with like the $1 to $5 purchase range,
Sure.
and selling anything I can make a couple dollars on. I I have 20 listings on eBay so far, and we only thrifted the last, or we only did garage sales. We don't even do thrifts because that's just too much money.
Sure.
And that's going really basic, I guess. But yard sales, we did the last 3 weeks. We got 20 items listed. We sold five so far with a $63.30 profit after everything. That is complete profit.
Hmm.
So for us, that's kind of nice. We just want to know how do I make this a job? Because for me, I can't go to a job. I feel physically sick walking into an establishment trying to work. I literally will not leave the door. I won't do it. And I don't know, maybe that's just me having a bad head in some way, but so she does all the work and we're trying to make this work for me because this is what I like to do. So that's where I'm at and trying to figure something out.
Got you. So the way to to translate this from hobby or side gig into real income is predictability. That's the difference. When you go to a 9 to 5 job, what makes you sick is actually the way that the owner of that company has been able to make that work, which is predictable output, which means you go to work for 9 to 5. Hopefully you build that person who owns that company 10 widgets that they can sell for more than it costs you to make those 10 widgets. So you now are becoming the owner of your own company and need to make it predictable. Otherwise, it's still a hobby. Even actually, it's classified by the IRS as a hobby too. If you don't, if 2 years goes by and you're not profitable to a certain point. So what you and your wife are doing is, or a girlfriend, is amazing because you're just starting and flipping that money. Garage sales is going to have the highest ROI for sure. But again, it's going to come down to the stuff maybe you don't like, which is when you look at the most successful resellers, they have a set schedule. It's not like they work for themselves, but it's not random. They work like specific times of the day. Um, Not necessarily like go to this meeting and type this into the computer, but sort of like these hours of the day we're sourcing, these hours of the day we're listing, these hours of the day we're doing photography. It's I hate to say it, but it's very organized like that. If you're going to treat this like a income, you have to have an income based schedule. I've never seen anybody randomly make a living.
Oh yeah, for sure. The schedule I think is really important, getting all the things you need in order to be successful. For me
Yep.
right now it's just the like I have a 18 hours in the day that I could do anything I wanted to. But for me right now is like I have $5 to my name, and with $5 I have to then put $3 in gas and have $2 to spend at a yard sale or something.
Yep.
So I can't spend those 18 hours actually making money right
Sure.
now until I get to that point. Like I need to just choke myself out every time I walk out the door to actually get a job. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then so once I get to that point, I feel like right now all I can do is learn more, and I've learned so much just by looking up comps and okay, is electronic selling or
Right.
like Dell was Keith, I think he said his
Yep.
name was.
Yep.
He was saying DVDs. I like DVDs, two pictures, on a good white background. You're in and out. But for
Yep.
me, the biggest, scariest thing is there's so many scratches on every DVD you pick up at a yard sale. How can I scale testing something like that and then selling them for $5? Because DVDs don't sell for any more than $5.
Depends. But yeah, I get there's a lot of nuance involved in selling DVDs and video games, right? Because great margins, but then you need to check the condition. That's all part of the like providing a great customer experience. So Starco, what I would recommend for you, you have to get a job because like the getting your basic income set up is like, for example, I'm starting this store right now from scratch, and within 3 months, it'll definitely do $1,000 a week profit. But that's because I don't take any money out of it. It's so unfair. If you have to use the money for gas or anything, you won't be able to scale. You have to have a income pay your regular bills first the gas, all that stuff. So it's actually good that you hate a job, because then you won't be there very long. Because I remember that's probably the best motivation. All the stories you hear of amazing entrepreneurs, they always say that. Like Mr. Wonderful said that. I remember when my boss told me I had to clean gum off the floor, and I realized I will never work for somebody again. They always have that story. They have to hate. I mean, if you like working for somebody else, you'll usually go that route. So keep the saying, quick visual inspection. Too many scratches is junk. Oh, interesting. Yeah, you can do that as well. You can just list them. If there's an issue, just refund them. That's a great way to handle it too, at scale. But again, you need to be able to afford the return too. So.
Oh yeah, I had the biggest, scariest thing, and I don't want to talk to him because I see there's other people here. But the biggest, scariest thing for me so far was the last sale I did. I sold a Guitar Hero guitar, and after everything, I lose 83 cents on it. The shipping $17. So if they want it back, I'm gonna have to tell them to keep it for one, and then two, I have to lose the $17. So now I'm scared. You know, my PayPal is gonna be negative soon if this person. That's the scariest thing I've done so far as that. But it's a learning lesson, and like everyone I keep talking to about it, I was like, it's so valuable to me as a learning lesson. I don't even care about 17.
That's right. Yeah. Hopefully you make a lot more expensive mistakes in your future. That's nothing. Let's go with Rhea. Is it Rhea? Rhea?
Ray.
Ray, good evening. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Ray, where do you live? What do you do?
I live in New York, and I recently just switched over to full-time reselling after putting about a year of like working a job and putting like $100 a week into like getting items, and then finally worked on a process. And now I'm just putting all my items up and just in quick flips.
So what's been working for you, and what's your biggest challenge?
What's worked for me is garage sales right now during the summer, just to keep it simple, low overhead. I know how to survive off of like $1,500 a month. That's me personally, and then the other $1,500 I can keep putting into the business, and just over the next 3 months grow and get ready for Q4. And the biggest challenge I face, I have my nephews coming up here this summer. I just really want to teach kids how to do this and they be profitable. So more so as a business model to teach kids, and kids can do this. Since adults are lazy and they get mad and you see them be upset, it shows them like kids, and we can do YouTube channel and things like that of like flipping items and, you know, as a teenager, making profit, not wages, starting entrepreneurs young.
Yeah, that is crazy. Profit, not wages. I didn't really understand that as a kid.
Me neither. Very different.
That's a cool lesson. So yeah, and then right now, what's the next level for you?
The next level for me is just establishing credit just as a business, you know, and as a business owner, so that way I can leverage that credit and to be able to buy profitable items that I see. As you know, I'm pretty good at analyzing the market. I have a background in engineering, so that helps, and I can analyze analytics. But now it's just getting established, you know, as a I became a business this year actually. Started doing it to how I became a business, and just being established at this point, putting up the numbers and showing cash flow that are credible.
You know what's funny is I was listening to Nabil Ravikant today. He's like this angel investor genius guy. He's the founder of Angel List. If you have time, you should look up this guy. But he was talking about how everyone in the United States should be an engineer, because you're geared towards problem solving, right? And that's the name of reselling. But on the flip side of that, that's what he thinks. But in the United States right now, only 8% of jobs are engineering jobs. So even though engineering is maybe the most valuable skill you can have right now, which is just how to fix something, so few people have that skill. So it's I'm great. It's great that you have an engineering background, because it's kind of the name of the game with reselling. You're just engineering a solution. When you see things, you're just seeing problems. How can you sell it? Who's the buyer? You know what I mean? It just starts working in your brain. So
like
awesome to see.
Macros that you're gonna create, man. That's like, I'm like, oh, there's a process now. You can you know, set up to where, you know, you have a kid take the pictures, upload it, and then the map is just listed, you know, and so on and so forth. So that's very dope.
There's even Tina, or I think it was, oh, actually Danielle in North Carolina, Brooks, the guy that I'm going to connect you with, he doesn't even pay for the listers. He's offering a college internship. Kids are coming in and running the processes for free, not even paying for that. So there's automation built in and someone else is putting the inputs in. It's like free labor. It's totally different. Imagine how, and he's only dealing with businesses. So we're talking about massive change. That's a totally different outlook, but you can get free labor when, especially if the process is clear, then people won't get mad. But if you have kids showing up, they don't know what they need to do, and they're going to get bored and not want to help you. So it's kind of interesting how that process works. Cool. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.
Ed, can you chat? It's been a while.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds good. What's going on?
Let me do my video. Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Things have been going really good. I was in your group about, I guess, a year and a half ago, the morning group. And, you know, I retired 2 years ago, and I didn't want to show up for anything. So, but I'm a worker. And so I think when I was in your group, I was at about 1,000 listings. I'm at 2,500 now, and just steadily building up. Luckily, I have a lot of space. And I did Tino's models, so I'm doing primarily shoes. I think I got about 80% shoes. But what I'm doing now, well, number one, a couple of things that you gave me really helped out. The text expander, you know, that enabled me to list much quicker on Mercari and what's the other one? My brain went.
Poshmark.
Yeah, Poshmark. And then just like 2 months ago, started doing pirate ship, and that's fantastic. It really saves me a lot on shipping and stuff. So my next thing for this year is to find 2 or 3 other categories, because I do primarily thrifting. I mean, I do estates, and I do a little bit of yard sales, but primarily thrifting, a little bit of online. And I would like to work smaller stuff. So I just started looking at golf clubs every time I go now. And I think I've sold like 4 or 5 now, and they're relatively easy to ship. And then I'm starting to go to vintage malls and look at postcards and stuff. So I'd like to build up an inventory in that, but things are going really good.
So what's your biggest challenge right now?
Probably just organization. I mean, if I want to, I mean, you know, refining the processes, listing a little bit faster. And, you know, I think my sourcing is pretty good. I do like once a week, I go 40 miles away and I hit like 12 or 15 stores. And then once a month, I go 3 hours away and I hit about 20 stores. And then, you know, I do some local thrifting and stuff, but that definitely gives me plenty of supply. And so it's just about the in-home speeding things up and everything.
Are you coming out my way to get stuff?
No, I go to Fresno. I'm in Central. I'm in Visalia, and no, I went to my wife. I had to pick her up in L.A. She was gone for a month. Our stepson's in Russia, and so I went down to L.A. and I hit a few stores down there, and they have, you know, stuff I've never seen before, names I've never seen before, but damn, it's like $15 a pop for just about everything. So,
that's right.
And my average cost per item is probably about 6 to 7. So,
yeah, very different here.
Yeah,
very different. But also potentially $200-$300 worth of shoes here.
Yeah.
So
by the way, I wanted to ask you: have you ever heard of Botero?
No.
Italian brand? No. I just found a pair. I knew they look nice. It looks like they go for $450 or something. And what was it? I found another weird brand recently. But so yeah, and you know, I want to implement your spreadsheet. I've been using a Google spreadsheet for almost from the start now, and I'm, you know, physically listed. I stopped Mercari because it's so slow on my phone. But Poshmark, this month I'm a year on Poshmark, and I'm selling about 1 or 2 a day. Not huge, but definitely contributes to the bottom line. And I like it. I like that you get paid. That's if you want to accept an offer, you get paid. And I
That's
started
right.
doing your model on eBay where most of
lower the
the
price.
time somebody makes me a low offer and I'm going to accept it. I'll decline it, send them a note and say, I'll change the price and you can pay immediately if you want to. And so that's been working out good too.
I stole that from T. Harvecker in Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He said, you can eliminate accounts receivable if you're creative. And if we do that, there's no accounts receivable. There's no waiting. Like they can only buy it if there's money in their account. And you also notice on Poshmark, when you accept somebody's offer and it declines, then you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Some people, they didn't have the funds when you accept their offer. So like that can happen. Somebody may not have the funds. So that's like,
yeah,
that's
okay.
normal. So you can't have the, but I'm saying you don't have to take it off the website while they're figuring it out.
Yeah, I agree. I like Poshmark. The sharing's a pain, but my sell-through is way lower. But I price $10 higher on Poshmark, so I don't have the dual sale problem.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm only doing like 3% sell-through on Poshmark. I think I'm around 10 on eBay. Of course, I'd like to move that up, but let's put it this way: I'm not hurting for money because it's working good, and I'd like to build it too.
That's a good testament to just building it up. I talking to Tino recently. I think he's going for 8,000 listings.
I know. I've been watching him too. Yeah.
So he gave me the tips on hiring, which is like because I was like, how can I do what you do? Because Tino was the first member of this group. Tino, Luke, Endless Entrepreneurs, and Jason Sloan when he was Prof Sales. And we just talked about different ideas back in the day. And Tino was really, really, really focused on family time. So he's like, you can call me anytime and I'll give you like a 10-minute version, but I don't have any time for any collaborate. Like he's very busy. So, but anyway, very family focused, busy. So you can tell he's like, can somebody else do this or I'm not going to try. It's interesting thinking.
Yeah.
And I love that his workers only work 4 hours a day because of that.
I heard you say that in something, and that's that whole idea of the part-time worker. That's fantastic. Because I think that's what the culture's doing now anyway.
That's right.
People that are 18 to 30 or something, or they want to switch jobs anyway. So like you said, if you can just make somebody just come in and really crank it for 4 hours because it's interesting and because it's a good job and because that sounds fantastic. But for me, I think I wrote you, I can do this. I've had I ran a ranch for 10 years and I had a ton of employees and I can do it. At some point in time, I might get one or two people, but I can do it. And,
I also want to point out that I was having a conversation with my friend Cindy today. The more people involved, the less fun it is, for sure. So if you're looking at it from an enjoyment perspective, it is way less fun. When I had 7 people working, I didn't dislike it, but it was not as fun as my little store with 30 items in it is the most fun because it's tiny, it's cute. Like I know everything in the store off the top of my head. When it starts to get bigger, you really kind of don't know what's going on, and it's a little bit less fun. If somehow you had a store that was only $100 profit items and there was like 400 or 500 in them, that'd probably be the most fun. But it would be really hard to get all those really ridiculous those shoes you mentioned. A store full of those.
I talked about that gal quite a while ago about that gal that shops twice a year at Gucci or something, and it seems like she had like 1,000 listings or 500 or something. And I am gradually, the thing I want to tell everybody out there that's newer and stuff is, and you mentioned it too, is that over time you develop that skill for picking and for finding the people that'll give you the stuff, or finding the relationships that'll help you out. And it just, that kind of stuff takes time. So you just, you go out there every day and you learn. And like this one I just told you, a shoe called Botero. It said made in Italy, but you could just look. It was an interesting looking shoe. I looked up their site, and their stuff is like Meslin or something. It's all 400 or 500 or something. But you just develop that skill over time. So you have to put in the hours to do that, I think.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that Gucci lady. 30 grand twice a year and doubles her money, and that's it. Very relaxed relaxed existence. If you can shop twice a year, get it all listed, and just that's it, you just wait the whole year for those items to sell, that's pretty relaxed. And it's also extremely limited edition. Like Gucci does not make that much of their stuff.
Right.
So as long as
Right.
it's authentic, it'll be fine. Especially on eBay, if you have the receipt, you're usually fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm moving towards, my dollar amount is moving up per item. And, I do have a bunch of junk from when I first started, but I'm now, I did put offer on everything like 2 months ago. What a pain in the ass. So I'm getting $5 and $10 offers all the time. But, now I've built up the thick skin where it's like, okay, that's fine. I just counter back at my price, or if they're say $35, somebody offers $10, I'll counter back. I'll do 25. That's, and it's just, it's not a hassle really for me because I only get like 10 offers a day. If I was getting 30 offers a day, I'd be pulling my hair out.
When I was in the car business, most people say no when you're buying a car. It's only maybe a 10% or 12% of people buy a car. And I remember I wrote that down. I was like, okay. So I changed my attitude after like a couple months of doing it to, if someone would not buy, I'd be like, that's great. Thank you for your time. And if they bought, I would still say, that's great. Thank you. It was the same. It became the same. And I remember this guy was like, how are you okay with me not buying a car? I just spent like a couple of hours with you. And I was like, well, because I need 8 of you to find the one person that will buy. So I appreciate you being one of those 8 people, and now you have to leave so I can find the next person, So it's kind of interesting if you can somehow be okay with the L, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes. That's why I'm glad Starco came on and popped in and said that he has a $17 mistake potentially in the works, because that's very cool.
I heard him say that, and it made me think, I don't have a perfect feedback anymore, but I did for my first year and a half. And then I think I've got like bad feedback. But anyway, so, when I get somebody complain about something, actually I had somebody complain about some Nike shoes and $150 shoes. And I immediately refunded the guy and said, okay, send them back. I refunded him and said, send them back. You're unhappy with it. I refunded him up front because he gave me bad feedback. And that's kind of what I do now because I have enough inventory, I have enough sales that I don't worry about, because I didn't lose $150. I think I paid literally like $8 for them. So not a big deal, but you have to go through those first few times. And when you don't have much of a buffer, it is scary, but anybody that's newer out there, keep that mindset. Like Chris says, that focus on the customer, because everything will pay you off down the road. When they see that you've got good feedback, when they see that you got beautiful pictures, good description, they'll understand that they're doing business with a good person, hopefully.
When you see people that operate there, when I went to the last Becoming eBay Summit, there was a gentleman there with $7,000 in returns a day. So he was running this gigantic big company, $7,000 in returns a day, and he was losing 90% of the cases. eBay was just siding with the customer every single time, even though he had all these things in place.
What's the gross?
He was doing like 1.5 million a month or something. A lot. Big store. But he's just saying that that's a lot. That's a whole department of people trying to figure out how to not do that. And then when you get larger, you become more of a target because people feel less bad stealing from a company than a person. So smaller stores get scammed less. So it was interesting looking at how like it just gets bigger and more complicated as you grow. The return process is, especially if you have a high feedback, high customer service, scammers will target you because they know you will do everything to make it right. So
yeah, probably. I mean,
two sides of every coin.
But yeah,
scary.
As I go into higher dollar stuff like Gucci and stuff, I'll probably get that more often, and I'll probably, learn to mellow out and not worry about it. But
also another thing that's interesting is I signed up for 3D sellers just to test it out, and it's pretty eye-opening because you will get 5-6 times more feedback, and you'll get feedback like, I didn't like the item, but I didn't want to return it. No, And you don't get that when you don't email the customer after the fact and find out why they really didn't buy. So you will also get way more negative feedback when you ask for feedback.
Yeah,
So,
you mentioned it, and I checked it out. And,
yeah,
you know, I think I told you, I did Amazon for 3 years. And, you know, you get bad feedback there. It's really upsetting. And, you know, a lot of the time it was just scam feedback. It was just somebody trying to keep the books in this case. And so, when I was on Amazon, I used a program too that would do the mail to people and solicit feedback. And it seems like I got more negative than positive. I didn't like it. I started getting more negative feedback from that. So, you know, right now I'm getting feedback on half of my sales, 40%, probably 40% of my sales, and, you know, almost always positive. So I'm happy with that part.
Sounds good. Let's go. Jennifer, can you chat? I know I'm looking at your ceiling fan right now. Hold on, you're on mute. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Where are you? What do you do? How are you doing?
Well, I'm in Martin, Tennessee, and I sell on eBay, and I just started Amazon.
Amazing. So what's working for you, and where do you want to go?
Well, I want to make it into a full-time business. I'm kind of struggling with time right now. We're in the process of moving. We have another house in another state, so every weekend we're traveling. And I hired my sister recently because I don't have time to list. So she's going to be my lister on eBay, which has then forced me into creating processes. So I take photos and I upload the photos into the listing software, and then I text her a copy of how I want the listing to look. I created like a template, and I tell her what fields to fill out. So I'm working on getting my processes down.
All right. And then do you have help, or what does your schedule look like right now when you're not moving?
Well, no, I'm by myself. It's just, I need to buckle down on that. That's what I've told my husband. I said, he needs to look at me as if I'm working 9 to 5 instead of I'm here to answer and do what he needs. You know, like I'm out mowing the yard during the day instead of listing like I should be, or I'm running off and getting him gas so he can get off to work on time, or I'm making him his meals. And I have a problem with time right now.
Yeah, that's most of this. Like on the on the calls each morning, reselling you can learn pretty quickly, but the scheduling part takes a long time to master.
Yeah.
Because everyone needs to respect you and not think you're fun employed.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Like my girlfriend called me in the middle of the day, and that's the first thing I said to her. You know, hey, this is my business hours. She's like, what do you mean business hours?
I just don't pick up. Don't pick up.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's what I need to start doing. Not picking up.
Yeah, don't pick up. Because it's hard to explain to people that are not doing what you do. So they're just especially if you stop answering. They're going to be like, oh, wow, she usually picks up. This is different now.
I feel like everyone sucks my time away, and then I'm left with nothing. Or I'm not able to do what I want to do. And I feel like I'm just always spinning my wheels. So like right now I'm at that $10 profit per item. So I need to switch that after, listening to what you were just talking about. I need to up my game. I've got products that I can make or list and make more, and I'm just listing everything. Why am I doing that? I need to have a garage sale and get rid of those $10 items and list the $20 profit items. So I got to make some changes. And you've got some great information, and I appreciate what you're doing for us.
Thank you. And I definitely encourage you to get around like-minded people, and then just look at rub off if you can find people that are doing the same thing as you. So and a lot of people that I have found are not in the Bay Area because here it's so expensive to live here. And most people have a job. Mm-hmm. So it's too risky to try to be an entrepreneur. No one, very few resellers here. Even though Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari, their headquarters are all here, they have some of the smallest meetups. So I had to find all my people online. So that's like
And that's a good point. Maybe I need to reach out and look for some meetups or something, because I haven't done that. I'm pretty isolated. I don't get out a lot. I don't have time to get out and socialize or to meet people. And being in a new location, I only have one friend that's here. So that's why everyone calls me from where I used to live. And so it's a little bit of a struggle, and I got to figure out that balance.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go, Teresa. Teresa, good evening. I think you've been on the call before. I forgot where you live.
Hi, Chris. Yes, Long Island, New York.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're kind of isolated here, too, as far as, I don't know, I haven't run into too many resellers here either. I think everybody has to work, but I still work a full-time job, so I still do this part-time. But even though this has been my breakout year as far as ramping up, and I found that just my sourcing skills have gotten much better since I've ramped up, because doing it like kind of as a fun thing originally and not concentrating on it as a business and really treating it like a business, that's what got me into a lot of trouble with, just not making money, or, like poor Starco there worrying about somebody's going to return a $17, sticker, item. And now $17, once you get into this, full-time kind of, even though it's part-time for me, I still feel that I'm doing it full-time anyway. I think some of the keys to that is just know what you're selling and just concentrate and spend as much time as you can on researching stuff, knowing what things are out there. Ed just mentioned he did primarily shoes. So that's what I always recommend to everybody is, pick a couple of niches, not go crazy with this and that and everything else. Just work on a few things, learn what they are, learn about the shoes, learn about all the different brands, and then you can really kick your game up. And just some more advice for Starco. Starco, you might even want to consider maybe some consignment, or what about the stuff around your house? I'm sure there's some stuff around the house that you can grab besides the garage sales too. So those are always good kind of two niches, or just ask friends and family, hey, what do you got? I'll cut you in, like kind of a consignment thing where you're not laying money out, and just kind of say, hey, that China set or that, video game you're not using anymore, let me list it, let me try to sell it, and after all is said and done with fees and everything, I'll split it with you. It's just a thought.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I wanted to reply if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I found someone like that, and it's crazy. My wife's mother, her boyfriend, he used to be a big time eBay seller back in the day, and he has these old like 90s video game humongous I guess they were liquidation lots or whatever, but he's got old Nintendo stuff still in the box. I mean, hundreds of the same game, and the only reason he doesn't sell it on a big level like he used to is because his ex-wife, legality, she could get the money if he starts selling it again. So I'm gonna try to start listing it as well. He only lists a very few things. That way he gets a couple $100s a week. He's trying to I don't know if he's trying to get around the system or whatever, but I found someone like that. So thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, that's, some of the things I found along the way. I did do some consignment with some folks along the way too, when I was, not really knowing what to sell or how to source. I found a couple of people who didn't want to be bothered, and just kind of, after all was said and done, cut them in at the ends for, 50% of the, net profit. It still was worth it in the beginning.
Live conference.
Okay.
Go ahead, Teresa. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And, for me now, it's just to concentrate on those larger items, to concentrate on not worrying about the $3 net profit that I'm going to make. I want to try to make $30 on everything. It takes a while. You just have to know your stuff. And I just, feel that the more you get to know different niches, the more you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to concentrate on, whether it be video games or the shoes or clothes, or I do a lot of hard goods now with collectibles and things like that. And you just have to know that Hummels aren't worth anything anymore. People still think they're worth something, but yet Waterford still has a market out there, and certain China still has a market out there, depending on where it was made. And that's just stuff I've been concentrating on myself.
Very good. Alex, can you chat? Alex M in the darkness. Maybe not. And then, okay, let's go. Maybe, is it Grathan? Grathan? I don't know if you can chat. You're on your iPhone. Maybe not. Let's go with Matt. Matt, good evening. Thank you for joining. You are indoors today. What's going on?
Yeah, I think it's going to rain outside, so I had to be inside of my single wide / warehouse.
Very nice. What's going on? What's been working for you?
Boom! I found something today that is amazing. I don't know if you can see it too good. Harley Davidson leather jacket with all the patches and stuff on it. Bam!
Wow, that's epic. What
Yeah,
size?
I got it. XL.
Good
Perfect.
Size. Yeah.
But found it at a Goodwill for well, in North Carolina we have GCFs. It's the equivalent of a Goodwill. And usually everything in the store is a set price. But at this particular GCF, they had certain things individually priced, and that was $90. So I talked to the manager, and I got him down to 50.
Pretty good.
So that's probably the most expensive clothing item that I've ever had.
That's awesome that you were able to talk to them. What did you say to get a deal?
Well, I said, $90 is pretty high. I mean, have you ever seen anything in the store priced at $90? And he was like, yeah, that is kind of high. I need to talk to my partner. So I realized something there. I thought, this guy's a manager. He's got a partner. Who runs this place? I was like, okay, so every GCF has a local person there that makes the prices. See, that's what I really learned,
That's extremely valuable to know.
Exactly.
That also means you could do some kind of bulk buying.
Yes. Yeah, but I didn't really hit it off too good with that guy. but maybe somewhere else I'll be able to talk to somebody and work the charm and all.
Something interesting, Matt, that I mentioned is that you are much less likely to build a relationship during a discounted sale. So meaning if you pay full price for something, like Keith's probably noticed this, when you're buying lots and you just pay what they're asking for the first time, you start the relationship on a good setup. It's almost like you buy something cheap first so that they know you're a buyer, and then you ask on the Harley Davidson jacket or something, just like some different ways to work the magic to get people to like you.
Yeah, I've had that exact thought at certain smaller thrift stores. It's like I'll just go in one random day and buy 40 pairs of men's pants. And then I'll start talking to them, and they're like, well, we have a sale on the 17th on men's pants for 50% off. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great. But I would really love to come in that day and talk to somebody and see if maybe I could buy every pair of men's pants in the whole store every time I come in. Just act a little crazy. You get people to notice me.
For sure. No, and also energy transfers. Most people are having a very apathetic day. You can inject some of your energy into them. Smile goes a long way.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
Let's go with Nathan. Can you chat? You sound like you might be with the fam. Go ahead, Nathan.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. What's going on? Where do you live? What are you working on?
Vegas. I've been sending you a lot of messages. I want to thank you for that help. I bought a lot from you.
Oh yeah, how did that work out?
Awesome. You need to put more in. I'm ready to get some more. Oh my goodness. I'm just trying to get together and work out a deal, but I'll tell you, you helped me out on a lot. One of the things that we did this week, you had said something about using the I guess it's Terapeak and using the trending prices, and the trending prices have really helped us out. I'm hitting $200 days easily now. This past week, I know it's small, but I'm averaging $1,200 gross right now with just those.
That's great.
I'm happy. Keep putting the videos out.
Keep
I'm
pushing.
listening, and it's me and the wife, and
Cool.
we work together as a team, and we're doing great. I'm listening right now, so we're listening right now with stuff. You can see my hangers in the back there.
Have her join next week on Monday.
Most definitely. Well, are you going to come to eBay Open?
Yep.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you there too. That's it. I can't wait to maybe at least do a selfie with you.
I'm gonna try not to do anything with eBay this year, so I can actually hang out with people. Because last year I was doing all these random panels, and I'd rather just go and enjoy myself because it's like there's a lot going on. So hang out.
No. Yep. I heard it'll be like it's at Mandalay Bay, and so it'll be a lot of things going on. I'll probably make it in the afternoon before I get down there, but I can't. Like I said, I can't wait. And sales are really kicking off because we started out. I had 35K listed, and sales. We're getting little sales, but once we change it, like you said, with the trending rates, it's chinging. I was just listening to you, just a minute ago, and his wife was telling me, "Hey, we made another sale." So I like that cash register sound all the time, and the motivation. We live in beautiful Vegas, and it's nice here, and I just say it's every time we make a sale, it gives me another day to live here in beautiful Vegas because pretty much making sales that pays the bills, and that's it. And as you know, Vegas, it's costly a little bit, but it's lovely here.
It is lovely. It's hot as balls there. That's the terminology.
Yeah.
Came up. It's so hot. It was 100 degrees at 6 in the morning when I was there.
Yes. 106 today, right?
What is that? It's so hot.
Yes. Yeah, dry heat, right.
Dry heat.
It's
no,
hot as hot.
Hot as hell.
Hot as hell. That was crazy.
Yes.
Cool. Well, glad to hear that the progress is coming along. That is something that I'm considering because the wholesale is interesting. And what I was talking about earlier with Danielle is when you start adding business customers to your mix, it's very different. Like if I was only going to sell wholesale boxes, which I haven't, then I would have the buyer part already done. I always need to figure out how to get good stuff, right? Because you already have one part of the equation done. So
exactly. Well, I got liquidation. I live less than 10 miles from the liquidation where they bring it, where it's packed up and brought in. So I got liquidation on one corner, and I have what's the other one? Oh my gosh, it's the other big guy, bulk. I got them right down. Can't even be more 5 miles from where I'm at.
Oh, you mean
so
bulk
and liquidation? It's just
liquidation.com.
massive stuff there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I have both of them right here. So if I want to go into that, I can. But the Goodwills are great. We got a lot of them. We even have what's called savers and all that. Let's see. Thursday's my pick day.
If you have time,
I go out.
If you have time, try and visit the Blind Center.
Okay. Yep. I know where it's at.
You should visit their eBay store. It's incredible. Guys, this store, if you have a chance to go to Vegas, visit their store. 15 blind people work there. That's amazing. 15 blind people who can't see. Not only do they work in that eBay store, but they make pencil sharpeners there without vision. Like I don't know how that's even possible. They private label pencil sharpeners. And if you guys want to really level up your life, build a charity that runs itself. That's like the most, how do you even come up with that? Like that is an incredible charity. That's I don't know anything in California that's set up like that, where the charity doesn't need monetary donations. Companies donate. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep. Vicky and Katie, they live here too.
Yeah, they
And
do.
we have meetings pretty much right at the center. So
Yeah, they actually came to the
it's
event last year.
great.
They came.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely hang out with them too. They live. Oh wait, I guess they do live there.
Let's see. They're about 10 miles from me. 10 miles from me. Yeah. They stay in actually it's in person, like offshoot. I'm
That's
like
cool.
I'm 8 miles from the strip. So
Okay.
I'm like right here.
Stephanie, can you chat?
Yeah.
Good evening. What's going on? What are you working on?
Oh, just trying to get some things inventoried. So that's about it tonight. So nothing exciting going on here.
Nothing exciting. Just keeping. Well, it looks like a family business is budding.
I know. I've got my little worker here. My little worker bee.
That's great. Yeah, that's cool. It's always hard to get them involved. So you're doing a great job. Cool. Johnny, the call actually is now 5 p.m. Pacific, so I think you're just coming in on the tail end, but do you want to share what you're working on?
Hey, yeah, I didn't know what time the call would be at, so I was like, I think Chris calls at 8 on Mondays. Let me try to do that. Yeah, well, I mean, I just got back in from, I was out of the country for like a week, or for a week, and it was kind of good to step away because you kind of see what's wrong, and that's a good thing. I kind of recommend everybody to step away for a week and see how your business runs and see all the kinks start coming out real quick. So that was a really good thing, and I couldn't wait to come back to kind of fix those things. And going back to that, I forget who said, if you're standing too close to the trees, you can't see the forest, kind of thing. So kind of stepped away, then saw where the problems were, and now I'm trying to come back, and they're all kind of like inventory problems and just or organizational problems. That way, I had my helper help pretty much run the business, and so it just came down to like, what's boxed and what's not, and wrong weight limits and things like that, and just dealing with customer service and just stuff like that. So it was a good experience while it was a good vacation, but it kind of showed me where I need to be. So that's pretty much it.
And you're back, so I'll see you tomorrow or this week?
Yeah, I'll be back for sure tomorrow morning.
All right. Yeah, I think ideally we can get to 2-month vacation, because that's apparently when that if you can take a 2-month vacation with your business and you come back and everything's not burned to the ground, then you actually
exactly
you actually have something, because less than that you can always fix it when you get back. But
if you go any longer, it'll just totally collapse. And I asked my guy, I was like, hey, do you think you can handle it? You're solo on your own now. I mean, I was still doing all the customer service and kind of giving, still working from abroad, but he recognized where his weaknesses were, and I recognized what the business's weaknesses were, but it was a good thing. Like, I highly recommend it in a way. That way you could just see what happens, so it's a good thing.
all right, everybody. Well, I will see you guys next week, and everyone have a great week and take care. Bye, guys.